Guys, so today I want to talk about the shift in Black women divesting because I noticed that it is a big turn in Black women divesting than ever before. And some people might ask, like, okay, is it a bad thing? Should Black women divest? And honestly, I feel like yes. Why not? Why not? I mean, everybody else does it. And you already know that mostly Black men divest more than any other group. They divest or want to divest the most. And they have no problem divesting if they have the opportunity to do so. So why should you? Sure, go ahead. Do whatever you want to do. And don't be ashamed to do it. And it's not a bad thing. It's not. Sorry, it's just not. However, I do think and feel that Black women should remain humble. I mean, and we always been humble since the beginning of time, but we should remain humble. And what I mean by that is when you decide to date someone who look different than you, don't hold them on a pedestal. And while you're holding, while you have like, you're making yourself look like a fool. You know how some of these Black men are out here. You see the examples on the Cynthia G show. You see how those Black men embarrass themselves. They don't remain humble. They decide to, and they hate looking like a sucker, but they don't know that that's the real definition of looking like a sucker. So remain humble, ladies, and don't do anything desperate or anything. You like who you like, and that's just that. You can, it comes naturally, right? Simple as that. Okay, so now I want to talk about race loyalty. Many of you may ask, what is race loyalty? When a particular, for example, Black women, some Black women, there may be some Black women out there who may be attracted to non-Black men, but they feel as if they don't supposed to date them because of the backlash they might get from their black men. Even though those Black men treat some of them horrible, they are the ones who's mostly sexually assaulting them, mostly mentally, physically abusing them. The ones who are the reason that the father absence rate is skyrocket high. Those Black men, they are afraid to date outside of their race and go places with those non-Black men that they prefer to date, because it could potentially be Black men out there who might see them walking together. And come on now, you already know the abuse a lot of Black women face in our communities as it is. So, you know, that's what race loyalty is. And you see it all the time. And a lot of them don't believe that there's women out here that's race loyal. Some of them know, and some of those men be like, yeah, we glad that they sticking, that they holding us down, even though we ain't gonna hold them down. But y'all, I just want to read y'all something. So y'all, this is I pulled up this article. It's the Maryland Coalition Against Sexual Assault. It says, according to the Times of Foundation 2020, for every Black woman who reports rape, at least 15 do not report. It is common for Black women to be told that they should just maintain the desire to shield Black men from dominant societies. Again, for us to be the leaders, although we're women. Like the criminal justice, in terms of protecting Black males who have perpetrated sexual violence towards Black women, there are cultural considerations that can be a major detriment regarding the healing process of the victims. So you just heard what I read. It's a cultural thing. It is. Excuse the train, y'all, that's passing, but it's a cultural thing. And for a lot of Black women who don't stand up about what they're going through in society with their own men, it's crazy. And that's why I'm having this whole discussion, because it's a good thing that many women are actually standing up and saying that enough is enough. You already just watch what happened with the what his name, Christian Toby Abuseli. You just watch what just happened with him. He talked about us like a dog. And then you have these Black men And not all of them, but you have some, most of them who's saying, oh, he still didn't deserve to die because of his preference. You dodo birds, first of all, his preference, that's not why we're all, first of all, we keep it silent, but for the black women who are still saying something about this whole thing with Christian Sophie, even though it should have just been deaded. Come on now. It's not about the preference, it's about the simple fact that you bashed us like a dog before you died. Dating this non-black woman, you bashed your own women like a dog. The next question I want to answer is divesting worth the hype? And this is coming from someone who has actually dated a white person before. I mean, it's just like any other relationship that you would be in. You treat it as the same. You don't treat that person different because they're a different race, or you don't hold them on a pedestal like I was saying before. Like, remain humble, be yourself, be you. I just feel like it's not a normal thing to hype up a preference. You know, like that's not normal. Like, you really don't see anybody, hyping up a preference, like shouting out their preference to the rooftop. Like, that wasn't what we was taught the normal thing is in society, or especially in America. But I think a lot of black men, they look at it as normal because they're the only ones who do it. In fact, you never see black women doing it. You never see white men doing it. White women, Asian men, Asian women, Hispanic. The list goes on and on. You don't see any of them doing it. We don't do it. So I think so. Is divesting worth the hype? It shouldn't be. Just treated. If you want to divest, divest. It shouldn't be worth the hype. It shouldn't. Just divest. Do you? And it is a lot of successful, relationships, out there. That come on now. The sisters wanted to finally wake up and divest and do that. Some of their relationships is very successful now, but that doesn't say that you still can have the same issues you had in your previous relation, the same kind of issues you had like you did in your previous relationships. That's just not the case. So you know how these black men like say like, oh, I get with this white woman, I'm gonna be stress free, this and that, and they get with these white women, and then they're the opposite of stress free. In fact, they're 10 times more stressed out with them than they thought they were with us. But it's too late. We don't even want them no more. Once that happens, we don't want them no more. Race loyalty should come to an end, and I'll tell you why. And the answer is because nobody owes anybody any loyalty, no matter if they're the same race as them or not, if they don't give them loyalty to begin with. So you don't owe anybody any loyalty. You don't owe anybody. You don't have to hold anybody down if they don't give you a reason to hold them down. Remember that, and that's my only answer to that. The reason why I think a lot of black women are divesting more now than ever before is because of realizations, generational curses, a lot of, and I know you black women can relate. A lot of our mothers, well, not my mother haven't taught me this, but going back in generation, from the previous generations, a lot of the women, in the previous generations, they have told us that just to stick by black men no matter what. They're criminals, stick by them. They abuse you, stick by them. They're deadbeats, stick by them. They give you a hard time, turn your hair gray, stick by them. And us young women, and I'm a part of the young generation, we are not taking that. I will never take that, ever. And so that's where the problem is at, because a lot of them know that as young women, we are not taking it. And so when they say that, when we say we're divesting, we are playing with them, and we're just playing. They don't know that we're serious, because this is most of us young girls talking, and a lot of us young girls, we're saying what we mean. You already see us now. We're making big moves. We doing our own thing now. We when we say things, we mean it. And I don't know how things went back then, but when us young people say something, we mean it. And so, yeah, I think it has something to do with, generational curses and just the realization. And when I say a realization, a lot of black women waking up and actually seeing that just because you can literally do everything that black man said that he wanted you to do. You can do everything. You can be as feminine as ever. You can do everything he wants you to do. But at the end of the day, he still won't respect. He still respects a white woman of another race before he respects you, simply because of white skin. Because black men are infatuated with white skin, and you've seen a result of that. You've seen a result of that, and so just the realization. A lot of black women realize that no matter what I do, even if I meet all of these requirements, even if I do everything that he wants me to do, it won't make any difference. And so a lot of black women are just like, fuck it, and which I don't blame them. Okay, I'm just going to close this off with saying, be aware and be alert and be expected for the unexpected. So don't think that, like I said before, because you're divesting, that is going to be different. You can find the same issues in your in that divested partnership the same issues, that kind of issues you had in your past relationships. You can experience the same thing in your current ones with the people you decided to divest in. Remember that. And just remain humble and love who you love, ladies. And don't let anyone tell you can't love who you love, because you can definitely love who you love. And peace out, ladies. Love you. It's the things that you do.